Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you as always for joining us. This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew Don't Get It Twisted Lapiche. And this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you as always for joining us. So just as I started to record, my damn camera started to come out of focus again, but regardless, I will get back in. Here we go. All right. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day weekend. I hope you spent your Valentine's with your loved ones or loved one, that special someone. If not, I hope you spent it with who I like to call Manuel. This is your hand, right? This is Manuel and Manuela. I hope you spent it at least with that. I had some sort of fun this weekend, to some degree, because there's always single events out there for everybody. But for those of you who are coupled up, I hope you had a great Valentine's and enjoyed it thoroughly, because it happened to land on a Friday this year. And, that meant it kicked off the weekend, not just in our personal lives, but also in the boxing ring, because there was a lot of goddamn fights this weekend. Everything from Saturday with Keyshawn Davis stepping in there with Dennis Baranchek, to Saturday morning with Jack Catterall and Arnold Barbosa Jr., and then later on in the evening with Oscar Duarte and Miguel Madueño. So we're going to get into all of those, but of course, we are officially inside of Fight Week, I guess, officially Fight Week for the big February 22nd card that's going to be on DAZN or DAZN pay-per-view for $25.99. Can't beat that price. A stacked card that we will definitely go into, because I do have the odds here in front of me. I'll definitely go through that card that we're going to speak of, and a couple of things here and there that popped up in the news. Everything, I'm starting to see a lot of news from the Ring magazine. They recently reported that there's going to be some sort of Alcatraz event with Teofimo Lopez on there, which we don't know how that shit's going to work out, but definitely news that popped up this weekend. So that will definitely eat up quite a bit of our time, because we are definitely going to be very in-depth and thorough with the information that we are picking up. But before we get into all those details, Andrew, what's happening, dude? How was your Valentine's?
It was good, Miguel. You know what? I remembered what I did now.
Oh, okay.
Since so we went
It
to
was
go
that
see.
memorable, huh? Just,
Yeah, well, it was old school. You'll see.
oh, okay.
We went to go see the kids art. They did some art projects for school. So Gio, and Natalia. So we went and seen those, and then came home. My wife made me dinner, steak,
Mm,
cheesy cheesy spinach and mashed potatoes. Yeah, it was very good. I was in love with that.
mm.
And then we watched Keyshawn, bro. That's
That's
what we did. It was old school fucking date night. Eh? She watched boxing with me, bro. Yeah. No, we didn't do shit. That's what we did. We watched Keyshawn. That was a good fight too. Good night. It was a good night.
mm,
So yeah, we kept it in. Didn't have no babysitters. Everybody's sick. Everyone got
mm.
sick. My mom got sick for the on the
Uh-huh.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So now she's got a bug at her house. So we're like, all right, we'll stay away.
Mm.
Give you time to rest. So no, just stayed home this year. But we'll be
All right.
back. Me and my wife will be back on the streets in no time.
Yeah. You'll be hitting the nightclubs
Yes, sir.
come next, because I don't even know what day it lands on next Saturday, but probably even a Saturday. I don't know, or a Sunday,
We're
depending on how it works out.
just waiting for that snow to stop, dude. Once that snow stops,
Oh, back to Reno.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's all you, dude. It rained here this weekend, and like it rained pretty
I
hard, like
seen that.
Thursday or
I
something.
seen.
It slowed down Friday, and then now there's snow. You can see snow up in the mountains and the hills and stuff. But like, dude, this is Vegas, man. Like we barely get cold, and I do actually really like the cold weather, which kind of sucks because I step outside, and I'm like, oh, I want to get nice and bundle up, man. I'm fucking sweating on my truck already, but because of the rain that we had this weekend, there was finally snow up in the mountains, so that kind of made things a little bit colder, especially Friday, because Friday was Valentine's, where I was out and about, and it was windy and cold. But as long as you guys enjoyed one another on the lovely holiday of love, one Valentine's Day, February 14th. But we celebrated with a lot of hate, because there was a lot of fights on that weekend. There were people hating one another like a motherfucker. But we're gonna start off with that Friday main event in particular, with Keyshawn Davis and Denise Baranchek. So before we get into the fight itself, did you see the controversy with the package that was delivered to Keyshawn from supposedly wasn't Baranchek's team, although people saying that it was. Obviously, that's the first thing that people thought of, but that it was them. But then there's even people saying like, no, it wasn't us. I don't know about that, but I do have it right here. So before we go into those details, let's listen to this. This is Keyshawn Davis posting it on his, I think it's his Instagram. It's this, it's a box with a couple of pieces of fruit, which I'm sure you guys can figure out what fruit that is. But it says, here's a snack for all those high jumps. It says, stay energized, businesswoman, because, Keyshawn calls himself businessman, right?
I was spelt wrong, though.
What's that?
Correct? He spelled, okay,
Yeah.
you got to put that in there, because
Yeah, he added a
Baranchek's team seemed like they didn't know English.
Mm-hmm.
There's a misspelled word. Just saying, you got it, because it's about to get confusing for everyone that doesn't know the story or only knows half the story. There was a misspelled word in the note that they sent to Keyshawn.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, bro.
Yeah, and they added a T to the word high, so it's like height jump. I mean, I'm sure he meant high jump, but it says stay energized, businesswoman, and even woman wasn't completely spelled because they put the 3 ... And and Keyshawn, took a picture of it and posted it on his social media, saying, Baranchek and his team sent this to my room, and he showed a picture of course, the fruit. It says, I never thought bro was racist, but the fight just got a little more personal.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
So, of course, he put the hashtag first round KO. Well, it most certainly was not a first round, but regardless, it still was definitely a KO because when Keyshawn Davis earned himself the WBO lightweight title with by a fourth round. I guess it's an actual KO because he didn't beat the 10 count. So it was a fourth round KO by Keyshawn Davis. Andrew, what did you think about his performance? And first off, what do you think about this crazy shit drama before?
Yeah, you're not finishing the drama part first.
Yeah, okay.
So look, you guys, it was a watermelon and some bananas.
Mm-hmm.
It seems very racist.
Quite.
When you send an African American watermelon and bananas and tell him it's for his high jumps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it did seem like it was Barachek's corner and his team that maybe had done it. Look, the next day in the press conference, they don't do a great job of denying it. If it was true that they had absolutely no idea that this box ever went to Davis's room, Miguel, wouldn't you have been like, Davis, bro, that was not us? I don't know. There's no way. He was like, the things that you're saying, they wouldn't do. Like, he made it seem like they sent it out of good faith. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I wanted you guys to make a smoothie, right? Like, the way he was expressing himself to Davis, that's how I was receiving it. I was like, all right, so you guys did send it, but you're trying to act like it wasn't racist? Nah, bro, sorry. And I'm gonna say Europeans. I don't where all these white guys are coming from. I don't know, but we had Kovalev had to get checked one time about his jokes. Remember, he did some monkey joke on an African American. I want to say Fury's been on the border before. Is it more racist in Europe? I don't know. Is their humor different out there? Maybe they're not as woke, right? Remember, there was a time in America where we could get away with a whole lot of racist jokes, right? My dad, I was raised in the 80s by fucking racist jokes by everybody around me. Mexicans, whites, it didn't matter. Blacks, it didn't matter. Everyone had them, right? So I don't know what it is, right? So I didn't take it as it wasn't them, though. He didn't do a great job. His manager did not do a great job of pulling themselves, separating themselves from a situation that they had nothing to do with, if it was Teofimo Lopez who did it all along. Now, when Lopez sent out his video of him eating a banana and laughing at the situation on his computer, that totally didn't make me go, oh shit, he did it? That was him? I didn't think that at all. So I don't know do you know where the rumors started with it was Lopez? What made that?
I want to say somebody said it as a joke. Like, I don't even
Okay.
think it was legitimate. I think it was just like, oh, watch it be fucking Teofimo, after all the stuff that he said recently, and some funny memes that were posted regarding that, kind of pointing the finger to Teofimo. But I don't think that was, I mean, from what I saw online, it didn't look like it was a real legitimate, like, oh shit, Teofimo really did do this kind of thing. I'm pretty sure
And his
everybody and their moms knew it was Baranchek's team.
and his video didn't make it. Did you see his video where he's eating the banana and laughing? He's like giggling at his laptop, and
Oh,
it's
no, I
showing.
didn't. Jeez, I didn't
Yeah,
see that. No.
yeah. There's a video where, but even though he's eating a banana, nothing told me, oh shit, it was him.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I can see if he was like writing left-handed and you're writing the letter left-handed, right? Then you'd be like, oh, okay, that's, whatever. Because it did look like a left-handed, it looked like someone was just writing with their opposite hand that they usually do to write that letter out. The scribbly didn't make it seem like it was a foreigner. I don't know. It made it seem like it was a 2-year-old. You know,
Mm.
I think they know how to write in other languages. You guys, like, that was a bit. That was a terrible cover. Anyways, so then the beginning of the fight. Now
Mm.
we knew they were going to talk about it. I thought they were going to say Lopez and he's in trouble, or you know what I mean. Bob's really upset that Lopez did this. No. Then they say the video cameras are showing it's someone out of Barachek's team, or someone who looked like he was from Barachek's team. So now we're back on him. So it was racist from them. Is that the final answer, Miguel?
I'm gonna say so, yes, because even Top Rank came out with their own official statement on the matter. Um,
Wow, what
this
a
is this is what
stupid move.
this is
Wow.
what Top Rank says. Top Rank is appalled and disgusted by the actions of the individual, or in parentheses with an S, individuals, that delivered the package to Keyshawn Davis last night. These actions are contrary to the foundation of Top Rank. There is no place for this in sports or society. Keyshawn has our full support. So without saying it was Baranchek's team, I'm sure Top Rank knew immediately that was Baranchek's team.
Wow.
But yeah, so at no point did I legitimately think it was Teofimo. I mean, I'm sure all these funny ass jokes were coming out, and I was like, oh, haha, this is pretty funny. Maybe people are pointing the finger at Teofimo, but at no point did I legitimately think that. I mean, if this was if this was the case, I mean, geez, Teofimo really went out of his way to look like
Yeah.
somebody from his
Yeah.
team, to write it a certain way. Like, man, he was really covering his tracks if that was the case, but I don't think he would go that far. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to say final answer. It was Baranchek's team. I think they're I don't know, they're not as woke, I guess. Like back then, I mean, back over there, I should say, they can get away with these kind of jokes. I have to assume,
Yeah.
here, publicly, you can get fucking, lashed for that shit. But, yeah, I'm fairly certain it was somebody from his team. They had who, this actually. It's kind of funny that this happened on a Top Rank card, because it happened some time ago with Michaela Mayer and her opponent. I'm
That's
trying to
right.
think of her name,
That's
but
right. She threw
with
something on her, threw
right.
paint on her or something
Paint
like
or
that. Yeah.
something, right? Exactly. She was coming out of like a press conference or something, some crazy shit. So it's just like, is this the hell is going on here? And it just seemed kind of weird that it's another, Top Rank card. But nonetheless, yes. I mean, I don't think at any point did I ever not think that it wasn't Baranchek's team.
Definitely didn't help the young man.
Right. Yeah. Because that was presumably, if it is him and his team, presumably that's what they were trying to do, is get Keyshawn to get super emotional, and therefore not be, using that emotion is going to cloud his judgment in the ring and potentially put on a crappy performance that Berncheck can take advantage of and retain his title. But
Note,
didn't work out that
note,
way.
yeah,
Mhm.
note to all future opponents, don't piss him off, because
Right.
that was the best Keyshawn we've seen, right? A knockout in 4 rounds. The
Mhm.
assault to the body was tremendous. Just everything about the kid. The kid is really, he's really climbing right now as far as the new faces of boxing. Yeah, it's that was another great fight. I liked the last fight he had where he brought in he had his school there,
Mm.
right? Remember he had his
Mhm.
sisters singing. It's just a whole hometown feel. The crowd is always packed. Cuts the hair, comes in with the suit. Check punks dude in the press conference. Didn't throw any punches, didn't blow up, but got in his face and with all the right to. When someone, They took it too far. If that was them, took it too far. We don't play that shit over here. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
look, I got to talk about Lopez too. I'm starting to get just a little bit worried about Lopez, man.
Mm.
Did you hear his response that if he did do it, he would have put a monkey in there?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
This dude's
yeah,
just digging
Miguel.
the
Like he
fucking hole
goes,
deep.
yeah, like he. Why does he consistently right now put himself in the category as being racist, and
Mm,
then make boxing great? Dude, keep that shit to yourself. Don't bring Donald Trump into this. Don't
mm,
use him. Don't try to do that. You know what I mean? It's really bad. What Lopez looks like a fighter that's been hit too many times. I'm sorry.
mm,
He's starting to get that vibe. You're describing African Americans as monkeys. You're laughing at racist things. It's not a good look for him at all. And we seen his dad with his substance abuse and always kind of having these weird antics too. Kind of definitely looks like it's rubbing off on Teofimo a little, and then with you add in the punishment that he's taken over the years, it's like, is this a really might be a bad recipe for him in this final? Like Keyshawn said, I'm not fighting him, even though I don't like how Keyshawn then went back and goes, I'm not going to be the first one that fights him. It's like, come on, you're either not fighting him or you're not. What the fuck's the difference?
mm,
Because seriously, if you want me to be real, the biggest money is going to be who gets him first,
mm.
right? Because all we need is for Telefimo to go viral on his little monkey comments, and motherfuckers are gonna want to see him get his ass kicked. They're gonna pay big dollars to watch. And if Keyshawn's got a good fan base, I'm sure all his fans are gonna pay good money to watch him give that man a beat down for how he's talking. So, um, so I wouldn't wait if Keyshawn. If what I'm saying is, if you're gonna fight him, might as well start gunning for him now. Then don't let someone else beat him up, and then you're gonna get sloppy seconds. It'll be irrelevant at that point. But yeah, don't like the way Lopez is taking on his new character. Bad character, dude. You went from the American Dream to racist. Come on, bro. Seriously, go back to the American Dream. Obviously, it's not fucking Haney. I haven't
Yeah.
seen Haney use that in a while, right? So
Hmm.
could probably go back and grab that.
Yeah.
Um, about the fight. Uh, oh yeah, I already told you. Yeah, I loved everything about Davis, man.
Mm,
Right now, I keep saying I think Bo Mack is the best trainer in America. I really
mm.
wish he would do whatever he can to make himself stay here on this planet the longest, man. The other day, they were making fun of you, Bo. The other day, you're eating a motherfucking family pack of Cheetos. A family pack, Miguel. It's the biggest bag you can have. He had it
Mhm.
in the locker room, dude. We can't do this, man. The guy's a hidden treasure. There you go. We all got to protect him. We don't have too many trainers like him. His fighters are dogs, man. They're
Mhm.
killers, And the upper strength that Keyshawn was showing, I really want next time you see him, you got to ask if he's into wrestling.
Yeah.
Because then guess who else is getting into wrestling? Just
Well, he's got brothers, right? So, I mean, naturally, brothers are gonna do that. We're gonna fucking
yeah.
wrestle. That's just how it is. And yeah, maybe. I mean, they seem to be relatively close in age, at least. So to the point where it's not like one's brother is like 8 years older than the other, and they never had that kind of physical, what's the word? Like those brawls that oftentimes brothers have that are closer in age.
He
So
moved
for
them.
sure. Yeah, he did, right?
He moved them. He pushed them. Yeah, that'd be really good to know if he's doing any kind of wrestling training with Terrence under Bomac. But yeah, just love everything about their stable right now, and
Mhm.
another great performance for Keyshawn. I mean, this was a champ, dude. 4 rounds, taken out
Yeah.
with the body shot. Um, yeah, that was a good fight.
Yeah, it was, and it was a good. It was a championship performance. It's how you win a belt. It's his going after his first belt. Baranchik was also undefeated. Took that O from him, took his belt from him, and in turn made himself like that. That's how you do it. The top rank, top had tip my hat to Top Rank for bringing him up like this and setting him up the way they did like this. Shit, man, it's just, and mind you, he's at 135, and there's a lot of 135ers out there. If he were to go after Teofimo, he's going to most likely have to move up to 140 because there's where
Right.
Teofimo is right now.
Right.
Whether or not they want to do that already, I don't know, because we are going to talk about it a little bit later on. But we have some Teofimo news later on. But one of the other fights that took place this weekend was Saturday morning on DAZN from Manchester. Jack Catterall defending his international WBO something or other junior welterweight title against one Arnold Barbosa Jr. So we are talking about that because, keep in mind, the winner of that fight ended up being Arnold Barbosa with a very, very, well, I guess we can get into that here momentarily, but point is he got the win. Probably not in the most impressive way, but that kind of got him in line, or at least gave him dibs on Teofimo Lopez, because chances are he's going to be next. Whether or not they can actually make that fight happen, I don't know. But before we get into that, we can talk about the performance against Jack Catterall. So it took place yesterday here on the West Coast. It was yesterday morning, and there were some other. Oh, actually, did you want to talk about Xander on the? I don't know if you want to talk about Xander.
I was like, hey, listen. The only thing I want to say about the Xander and Davis card was it was kind of sad, man. Seeing, I don't know how ESPN, excuse me, Top Rank's transition to the zone is gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm hoping Top Rank is in this for the long run. You seen Todd in the ring?
Yeah.
Did you see him in the ring after the fight? Hey, that's like the first time we've seen this young man, or I guess old man now, but he's young to compared to his stepdad. That was the first time we seen him in the ring, man. This being the face of Top Rank. So it was just sad because those are two good fights. Both of those guys, Zanis put on Zayas. Zayas put on a great performance last night. I don't know why he's taking so many shots on the internet about not being ready. I thought the kid looked ready. Yeah, he took some punches. I think it's boxing. You're not going to be perfect, right? We're not expecting everyone to have this 100% defense. So he took his shots. He came back. His body work was tremendous. His power. No, the power is what I question, but the combinations are great, right? So let's hope as he gets older, he'll be able to get some more power out of him. But if he wants to step up, I don't see why there's a reason why I'd hold him back right now. Very impressed with his just everything about him, except like I said, the power. I think when you land over 60, I think it was 60 body shots, you should see a little bit of a break in the foundation at some point. You know what I mean? But hey, he's young, and hopefully he can grow into a little bit more muscle at 154, but definitely think he's ready. I definitely think he's ready.
I think the criticism comes from like comparisons to Miguel Cotto. I think they're just expecting him to be like that kind of Cotto. So I think that might be. I mean, I'm not saying might be. I think it's pretty unfair. He's never really like come out, and to my knowledge, is to try to be the next Miguel Cotto. But it's understandable. Top Rank is kind of what they're trying to do with this Puerto Rican fighter. So they're trying to find the next one, right? But he is the next one. I guess it'd be himself. It'll be Xander, and not necessarily the next Cotto. But I think that might be part of where the harsh criticism comes in, is they are comparing him to Cotto. I haven't done the side by sides to see where they were at this point in each of their careers to see whether or not that's even warranted. But on the subject of body shots, I think that I mean, number one, it ended the fight, right? That's ultimately what did it. And the what was do you think that the stoppage was a little premature, because that's what led to the stoppage? After the referee stepped in immediately, god damn, I'm already blanking on his name, but Spomer. He immediately started protesting, like, what the fuck. Was the stoppage a little too early?
No, because I think it was accumulation of just a beat down. I think the ref knew the fight was, was gonna. He was taking a lot of shots. He wasn't nowhere near getting this fight to turn around way. I wasn't upset with the stoppage, would like to, no, I just thought that the amount of clean punches that Zayas was landing should have affected him a little more than it was the accumulation, I think, is what made the ref step in more than the damage, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when your head is doing this, there is damage happening, but we know when a power puncher is landing, you see a guy's legs wiggling, he's dizzy, blah, blah, blah. I thought Zayas was missing that from as many good shots as he was landing, especially when you mix in the 60 plus body shots. I think that was on record. So, but no, the stoppage wasn't bad. He was breaking them down, and then he landed too many shots in a row. Yeah, the ref has to step in at some point.
He had his opponent's nose bloody in the first round. Like with those jabs were landing so fucking clean. He had
Yeah.
his opponent's nose already spomers. I think it's how you pronounce it. He was landing those
I
first
didn't
shots
think
right off the
I,
bat.
I miscalled it. I didn't think it was gonna. I think say I go. He's not getting out of four. That's what I called in the first few rounds because
Mm-hmm.
Zayas just looked so much better. The
Mm-hmm.
punches were all landing.
The
At,
sharpness,
yeah,
so damn sharp.
yeah. And it's Fundura that he's calling out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a bad call out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Fundura's lost. He's been stopped. Correct. Fundura's also been,
Yeah, yeah, just
wasn't
once.
he?
He was
But
he
he's been
was
stopped.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have swore he was stopped. He was dropped and bloodied and everything else. So I mean, it's not like he's some undefeated guy who hasn't been touched. Is what I'm saying.
Sure, sure.
Um, and if you take Zayas to that next level, maybe he responds with even a better training camp. I don't know if he can, but what if he steps up to the plate even more? Then I think he's absolutely fine for the step up in competition. So no, Fundura Zayas, I think it's an excellent fight right now for boxing. Hopefully his excellency is definitely looking at that. That's a Mexican Puerto Rican rivalry. They're both young. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a great classic matchup right there.
Yeah, and they're both big. Like even though Xander's 154, but he's still kind of a big dude. Like if you see him, he's kind of not as tall as Fundora, but he is kind of up there in height. You know what I'm saying? He's not
Yeah.
no shorty for 154, and that would be a pretty badass fight. Hopefully, it's something that we can actually make happen because Fundora, as I understand, I believe still with PBC, and who the fuck knows if they're gonna even want to fight somebody outside of the damn stable because they do that quite often. So who knows if that's even something that's I like the fact that
Hey,
he's calling him out at least.
yeah, him and Virgil. I mean,
Yeah,
I said it the other week that I didn't think Virgil was a superstar yet. So why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I want to see Zayas and Virgil right now? They look like they're on the same platform to me, the same
mm,
level of competition, right? Both very young champions, very good, um, excellent fights. No, I think Zayas is. I think he's ready for where the division is right now. Let's say
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
don't say him and Crawford. I'm not saying him and Crawford tomorrow.
Right.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that.
Well, Crawford and nobody else really. We know where Crawford's looking at a big money fight with Canelo. He ain't looking at it. He ain't even not even thinking about even fucking Boots Ennis at this point. He doesn't give two
Right.
flying fucks. He's like, let me go ahead and get this. So let's let everybody else settle it, and have Xander fight against anyone else because any one of those fights, either it's Virgil or if it's Fundora, would be pretty badass. I think so. And I want to say I think he hurt his opponent to the body a couple of times, and I don't even think the announcers caught it. I don't think Bradley and Tessitore caught it. Like there were a couple of times where he landed and he immediately like Spomer brought his elbow down. I was like, oh shit. I was like, did he hurt him? And I'm like, oh shit. The announcers aren't saying anything. I'm like, oh maybe I saw something there.
You
It wasn't
probably
really
yeah
there
yeah. I think you are right on that. Yes.
because there were a few times I was like, oh, you can almost see it, like his face, like, oh shit. I was like, oh man, that, and then eventually that's what led to the finish. But yeah, excellent performance by. And then of course it was at the New York, what is it, the theater at Madison Square Garden one, which is a
Right.
smaller one
Right.
in New York. So people showed up for him like a motherfucker too. They were like, they were there to support him, no doubt. But yes, but I want to just kind of slightly touch on that because that was the co-main event, and the DAZN back to the DAZN card with Jack Catterall and Arnold Barbosa Jr. So Barbosa came away with the victory, winning the WBO International Junior Welterweight title, and
Told you,
currently.
Miguel. You ain't shit unless you beat the American, bro.
Right, yeah. And you know what? props to Barbosa. He goes across the pond and takes
Yeah.
the shit that Crawford did, with Burns going over to dude. That's the shit that you do. You
Yep.
go over there, and mind you, I was concerned. I thought they were gonna take that fucking, and especially during when he fell. I thought they were gonna call that a knockdown. I was like,
Heck
oh
yeah.
shit, here we go.
Heck yeah,
Here we go. But,
bro.
it was still a tight scorecard regardless, because one round any other direction could have gone to Catterall, and even Eddie Hearn said that afterwards. But Barbosa came away with a victory. What did you think about his performance first and foremost against Catterall?
All right. I'm gonna admit something. I
We're,
watched the
we're on the same page. I know
I
we're on the same
watched I watched the fight the next morning. This morning, correct?
page. Yes.
So I already knew the outcome, damn it. And I hate that.
Yeah.
But I thought when I didn't see it on the zone, because I did not see it when I went there to look for the other fight.
Oh,
There
Duarte, and
was
yeah.
Duarte, exactly. So I thought they were on the same card,
Oh.
possibly two different telecasts, same card kind of deal.
Mm.
So I went to my internet thinking that I wasn't going to see the outcome of
Mm.
Barbosa, and then Barbosa win. I said, motherfucker. So now I'm watching Duarte. I already know the outcome for that one. So I kind of ruined it. So now I know the outcome. I'm watching the fight in the morning, Miguel, and I'm like, it's round 9. When's Barbosa win this motherfucking fight? It's round
Yeah.
10. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still like, man, out there, Junior, I'm always watching it with my son. I'm like, this is a close fight, bro. I don't know how the fuck they're calling this for Barbosa. Round 11, round 12, it's all the same. And I'm like, damn. Miguel, I love that he won,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a good fight. I just didn't think it was a fight that he should have. I don't think it was a fight that I expected him to win overseas in the other guy's backyard. There,
Mm-hmm.
I said it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I thought Catterall was clearly going to win that fight. If I didn't know the winner of that fight, I thought it would have been Catterall when I heard the scorecards. I don't know how the fuck Oscar pulled that off. Hats off to you, Oscar, for pulling
Yeah.
that. Hey, this is the only thing I told Junior. In the UK, correct me if I'm wrong, they've always been known to be face first fighters. They come at their action, right? Carl Froch's and shit like that. Ricky Hatton's, these guys, they're coming at you. Catterall did a lot of backpedaling. I wonder if
Mm.
his own judges kind of hated on him on this night. That's the only
Well,
thing I could think of.
Catterall, I mean, based off of his previous fights, like his fights with Regis and his fights with Josh Taylor,
Josh Taylor, yeah.
it wasn't too like headbutted. Like he didn't go two face. He did try to like box, and I mean that's what he did here. But he might have backpedaled a tad bit too much on this one. I think I think he thinks he had it in the bag and was coasting.
They weren't exchanging too much. I know they had um Barbosa had that good right. He was coming
Yeah.
over the top, right? It was like the last punch. He kept nailing him with the last punch. So maybe it was a 3-shot. But for the most of the fight, it's 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and one guy's backing up. One guy's backing up. Maybe that's what they hated on him for. They weren't giving him the close rounds because of that. But no, it was a very close fight. I thought Barbosa, I was like, all right, it's round 10. Maybe he drops him. I don't know. This is going to get in. Make it interesting. He's going to drop him. He doesn't drop him. Like, what the fuck is going on? Because I didn't see him clearly, like, take these rounds, bro. Like I said, it's that one right hand he keeps getting him with on the way out. It's like Catterall kept backing out. Yeah. Eesh. Hey, good win.
Right. At the end of the day, he won it. It's pretty. It is mildly controversial, and it's debatable, right? Because even when my pops saw it, he was watching. He's like, "This is the guy that they're gonna put against Teofimo." I'm like, "Yeah, this is in that. Like, this is the he won he earned his shot by doing this." But yeah, I don't know that part. I was watching it, and then then when he fell, I was like, "Oh shit, here we go." And they're gonna take
that was huge.
Yeah, and then they not counting it as a knockdown, and it did look like their feet kind of slightly like tangled. They didn't really do. Sometimes there's like an overhead shot, right, and you can kind of see their feet a little bit better. I don't remember them showing that particular angle, so I don't know if there even was a camera up there to get a better shot of their feet there. But as soon as he fell, of course, Barbosa immediately was like, no, 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 no. It was a fucking trip, right? And the judge or the ref outside was counting, and then the ref inside was like, no, 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 it was a slip. And I was like, oh
Right.
shit, okay, so they didn't count it. Because as soon as I heard the count, I was like, oh shit, how the hell were they going to give him the win this way? But um, still a good win for Barbosa, a hard earned. It wasn't fucking easy by any stretch. I wouldn't mind if for whatever reason we aren't able, or Barbosa and his team aren't able to get the fight with Teofimo. I wouldn't mind seeing this one again,
Yeah.
just because of
Yeah.
how close it was, and we don't want to hold Barbosa back. If he can get that fight with Teofimo, by all means, go ahead and do so. But right now, the way things are going, who the fuck knows? So if for whatever reason he isn't able to get the fight with Teofimo, I would be down for a rematch with this one because it was that close.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Sucks for Catterall that he keeps getting thrown into these rematch fights. I guess not for the bank account because they're both high caliber fighters, but yeah, definitely. I wouldn't mind seeing it over. If anything, now you bring it over here to Barbosa's side, right? Let him have the hometown advantage. He gave that to Catterall. Unfortunately, Catterall couldn't capitalize on it. So for whatever reason. But
Yeah,
to be honest with you, he didn't. He never took over either. It was Miguel. If it was a draw, I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been mad
yeah.
tonight.
Mhm.
So I think more. I would have leaned more towards a draw, but they did have it a very close 115, 113. The three, hey, in the beginning, those three judges, Liam Smith, all those English guys, oh
Mhm.
bullshit! They had
Yeah.
Catterall up like by 3 points. They're saying, "Get
Yeah.
the fuck out of here! He's winning. He's winning by that much. He was not winning. Not on my card was he winning
Yeah.
by that much at that point. But at least at the end, they kind of all brought it back very close, 115, 113. When I seen that, I wasn't mad at the scorecards. When I heard the scorecards, I wasn't mad. I was just when I heard Barbosa as the winner, I was really shocked because most of the time, a fight that close goes to the hometown guy. So
Mhm. Yeah, and then he was. I mean, if I remember the fight as good as I'm trying to remember, it was Catterall who was landing the more eye-popping shots. He was the one that was landing that straight left that would send Barbosa's head back. Barbosa would land, like you said, that left jab, I guess, over the three. I guess it would be the three, but it was the more eye-popping ones, the ones that looked like ooh and ah from the judges, were Catterall landing on Barbosa. It was the fucking, the shots that were sending his head back, and there was even that point in the where he threw a low blow on Barbosa, and Barbosa was like, God damn it! And then he still came over with that fucking
yeah,
left, right? And the referee's
yeah,
like, hold on, fool, hold on. I was like, oh man, but no point deductions or anything like that. Thankfully, there was none of that shit, and the referee did a pretty good job of not getting too involved or anything like that. These guys fought and they did their thing to keep the referee out of it. Not the judges per se. The judges ultimately were the ones who decided. But yeah, I was pretty surprised that when I saw that. I was like, because same thing, similar. I was coming home, I was like on my way home, and my dad was kind of texting me. He's like, "Hey, it already started." I was like, "I know, but I'm not gonna make it there in time." Yada yada. And I see the results. I'm like, "Oh shit, all right, Barbosa won, cool." And then my dad is kind of gives me a quick rundown. He's like, "This is the guy they're gonna give, Teofimo." I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah. What the hell happened?" So and of course I'm watching it. And I'm like, when is he gonna step it up? When it just didn't seem like there was no urgency there. Like
okay, so you watched it the way I did.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
He's
all
in
right, yeah, it was
his
hard, man.
homie's backyard. You kind of at some point you like it's in order for you to win. Well, normally under normal circumstances, in order for you to win in your opponent's backyard, you have to really win every round decisively. He didn't do that. He won enough
Right.
rounds, I guess, but I guess at the end of the day, doesn't fucking matter. Now he comes out with victory. Like you said, I don't know how Oscar did it from over here, but and then it's funny because they even brought it up to Eddie Hearn too. They're like, yeah, Oscar, and then he's to Eddie because they had talked about that fight, and then also on the February 22nd card with Schofield and Shakur and stuff like that, and other people. So anyway, but yeah, it's pretty funny. They're going to try to go that direction, with the promoters back and forth. At some point, they're going to have a 5-on-5. I'm sure they're going to do the same thing with Eddie Hearn and Oscar. But hey, you know what? Good win for Barbosa. How do you think he stacks up against who could be potentially his next opponent, Teofimo Lopez?
Well, look, this is now two fights Barbosa's had with Eddie Hearn. Both of them haven't been that impressive. Um, with his age,
No, not
you
Hearn.
know,
Golden Boy. He's been Golden Boy.
oh, he's with Golden Boy. All right,
Yeah.
so with Golden Boy, just fighting on the zone. My bad. I'm associating him with Eddie because of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. He's a Golden Boy fighter. This is his second fight under Golden Boy.
Mm.
And I could have swore the first time we weren't that
Yeah,
impressed with him.
yeah, we weren't. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and in this one, I'm not saying he lost. I'm just saying as I was watching, I was waiting for a little bit more
Hmm.
to show me that he decisively won this. What the fucking computer said. I was like, holy shit, they're gonna give him this fight. That was my response at the end of the 12th. Not like, oh yeah, that was very good. That was a good, good
Hmm.
ending for him. So that's really all it is. So against Lopez, look, Lopez hasn't looked good in a few fights. So who really knows how this one turns out? We don't know what Teofimo we're gonna get right now in the ring. Like I said, I'm a little bit nervous about how he's acting. Um, that he's even right upstairs right now, and you add in him having a bad night, he might break down in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So Barbosa has at least that capability of outboxing him to the point of getting him frustrated mentally. That might break him in their matchup. So I don't have a lot of confidence in Lopez right now. And I had the same feelings about Ryan, and that backfired on me, right? He fucking went out there and handled Devin Haney pretty good, so decisively. So just because I don't feel it for Teofimo doesn't mean shit. But right now, I just don't like where he is mentally. So a slick boxer like Barbosa might give him trouble. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, and somebody like well, I'm gonna say he's that powerful of a hitter, Barbosa. I'm saying, but he's got enough pop, I think, to possibly hurt Teofimo if Teofimo isn't careful. Because the last few opponents where Teofimo has had trouble with these slick boxers, they didn't have a lot of punch, and somebody like Barbosa might hurt him in that regard. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be down to watch it, of course. We'll talk about Teofimo here momentarily because there's a story about him, but there was another 140-pound fight on the zone yesterday night with Oscar Duarte. And I'm trying to make sure I don't mispronounce the gentleman's last name because I'm always fucking last names here. Madueño. We actually share
Madueno.
a name, Miguel. His name is Miguel. So Oscar Duarte came out and he got the victory. He got the victory. It was a seventh round TKO victory. It was against a late minute or last minute replacement. It was supposed to be against Regis Prograis, and Regis injured his arm, I believe, his shoulder, I'm not mistaken, and basically he had to pull out. So they put in Madueño as a last minute substitution, and he went out there and did what he could. He sure as hell didn't make it easy for Duarte because Duarte, he went out there and he earned it. I don't know if this happened during the fight, but did you notice that Duarte's left bicep seemed to have like ripped or something or torn towards at the very end when they were raising his hand or whatever? He brought his hand up. If you ever seen somebody's bicep rip, it kind of curls up,
Damn.
so it looked like half of it. I was like, oh shit, this happened during the fight. I don't remember seeing it at the beginning of the fight, but I wonder if that had anything to do with his performance. He came out with the victory regardless, but it seemed like Miguel Madueño was giving him a lot more trouble than he probably anticipated. Of course, you can expect this stuff to happen when there are last minute replacements because you don't have the kind of time to prepare for an opponent like that. When he was asked about this afterwards, he said no, that didn't matter at all. Last minute replacement doesn't matter as the man, as the champion, or a belt holder, I guess. Which he isn't yet, but I'm saying that as the champion, that mentality, you fight whoever the fuck it is in front of you, regardless of it. So he came out and he got himself the victory. Wasn't digging the low blows too much because he was throwing a lot of fucking low blows. I don't think the referee, was gave two shits about giving him a warning. Every time he throw, it was either like borderline on the belt or a little bit lower. One time he hurt Madueño to the point where he was like, "What the fuck?" And then Duarte just kept blasting. I was like, "Damn, okay, I guess this is how it's gonna be." But at the end of the day, we have ourselves another possible opponent for Teofimo Lopez in Duarte being 140 pounds here. What did you see? What did you think about Duarte's performance?
That was a it was a good fight. It was one that was hard to get up for because of the
Mm,
replacement.
mm,
Correct.
mm.
We don't know who the guy is. It's a last minute replacement, but he put on a good performance. I don't want to say that he was ever. He had his moments. He
Yeah.
had his moments where he was landing shots where it was like, did this just change? Are we changing? Is he actually getting to Duarte? Now Duarte was able to fight through all of them, But the young man had his moments where he made it an interesting fight. I agree with the low blows, bro. I don't think the zone showed one highlight that there wasn't a low blow.
Yeah.
It was getting ridiculous at the end there. You know, even like where's my coffee? All right. Thank you, bro. Um, so it was yeah, they were calling them vicious body shots. It was like, you guys, come on, we're not fucking blind, man.
Yeah.
You can see where they're landing, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You
And
see the
then
fucking shorts like do one of these things every single time. It's like and Madueño has some like sequins or glittery shorts, and you see the glitter is like, hello, those left hooks are a little lower than it should be.
it was Rocky Warriors all over again. Who else had? There was some other fights De La Hoya has put on that are kind of like they're not the A-listers, right?
Mm,
And it's just a night of low blows, man. It's like, hey,
yeah. I, I
does
remember
anyone care tonight what's going on in the ring?
I remember, I don't know if it was a De La Hoya card, but Abner Mares and Joseph Agbeko.
Yeah,
Agbeko would land
yeah.
fucking left, low blow after low blow. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel bad. Like, uh, Abner Mares is gonna be pissing blood at the end of this fucking fight, dude, because those damn shots were just bruising the shit out of his sack, I'm sure. But like
Right,
people, I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, it didn't help him regardless because
right.
Duarte still did his thing and came out and stopped him, which was I think that was a much better. I mean, that stoppage I think was better than fucking Xander's. But same thing. As soon as they stop it, Madueño's kind of like, wait, what the hell? Let me finish. But it was stoppage, right? I mean, it was a good stoppage. It didn't seem like it was too early or anything like that.
No, no. He started laying into him hard. Too many shots, too heavy. He's just got too heavy of hands to be a punching bag like that. Can't do it. It
Yeah.
got also Duarte might have the best body. He's got one of the best bodies in boxing on fight night. That dude's still ripped. You know how some guys they kind of lose all their muscles because they go out and eat, gain 17 pounds overnight,
Mhm,
and it's like, he didn't look how he looked on the scale. You know what I mean? But
mhm.
Duarte, man, that fucking dude's ripped still. He's a pit bull. Um, yeah, it'd be real nice to see where his career goes.
He seems to have like a thick torso. I don't know how to explain it, but like if you look at somebody from the side, you see like their pec and their back and stuff. This seems to be like wide because when he hunches over like this, like you can see like his wings. He
Right.
seems to have very like tightly compact torso, to the point where like he can take the fucking shots. He's a like almost like a little fire hydrant, and he has that. He it seems as though he has that kind of physique that he can take some shots. Not just upstairs but also to the body. But I know what you mean. He looked like, as far as like his physique goes, not just on at the day of the weigh-ins or the morning of the weigh-ins, but also fight night.
Yep.
Um, Another potential 140 pounder up in the mix. How do you think he matches up against some of the other guys like we talked about Barbosa and Teofimo?
he's on the he's on the underdog. He's probably going to be the underdog in most matchups because of his size, right? They're going to have the height and the reach advantage, I think, on him. Without looking at all of them on paper, it just seems like he's a smaller built fighter at 140. But it doesn't matter, right? He's still a dog. He's still pit bulls doing fine. No, I would love to see him matched up with anyone too. Good fight. Good fight.
What do you think about like you just mentioned it? Like, can you imagine him and Pitbull? Damn, those guys will fucking throw down, huh?
Yeah, it would be a war. That would be. Hopefully, his excellency knows about all these things. But yeah, that's a gem right there. That could be a nowadays Gotti Ward. It could be a
Mhm.
nowadays Barrera Morales, something like that. I don't want to say Barrera Morales though because that was a personal one, right? Them two they didn't like each other. Where I don't know if
Mhm.
Pitbull and Duarte are that. They look like they would be more of a Gotti Ward. Two friends had a
Yeah.
beer after, but then beat the shit out of each other when they got in the ring. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's why I say Gotti Ward. But yeah, most definitely, that has to be one of the most. That if the Ring Magazine is still doing their state of the game, that is going to be the dream matchup of 2025 for the junior welterweight division. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty badass. I mean, yeah, it might not be Barrera Morales because those, Barrera being from Mexico City and Morales being from Tijuana, there's just always that beef between those motherfuckers there. I mean, if you guys remember the fight that broke out during the press conference where two guys in suits and flies were flying all over the place while they were like throwing down. Yeah, that was Barrera Morales for you. That sums up their rivalry in a nutshell, pretty much. But yeah, it definitely adds to the already stacked 140-pound division because of all the other ones that we named. This is kind of a unique weekend because it highlighted those those weight classes and those neighboring weight classes with 135 and Keyshawn Davis as well. So um, it's a very interesting weight class and the neighboring weight
That
classes there.
that fight deserves to be on the undercard of like a Canelo Terrence Crawford or something. His Excellency would want to give the fans that as the co-main event. That would be an
Mhm.
excellent co-main event to Canelo.
Yeah, and not know like because what was Morel and Benavides with the fight with Pitbull wasn't the co-main event. It was Fulton and
Yeah,
Figueroa
man,
too.
it went too low.
Yeah, you know
Yes.
what I'm saying, and that would have really hyped people up for the main event. But not no knock on Fulton or and Figueroa, but it certainly wasn't that Pitbull fight that transpired beforehand and Fierro. That would have been that would have been the perfect co-main event fight. So His Excellency, Your Excellency, if you're watching this, please, make it happen as the co-main event. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on the topic of the number one 140 pounder in the world, Teofimo Lopez, it was reported recently that he's expected to host a fight at the famous Alcatraz, The Rock. If you guys remember that movie from the 90s with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage, The Rock. Um, near San Francisco Bay. Um, he's expecting to host a fight there. It is expected that he's going to be hosting a fight there. No opponent yet, of course, but chances are there's a high probability that it's going to be. I was going to say Duarte. Jesus, no, no. Barbosa because of Barbosa's win recently last night. Um, that's a weird one. There are. I guess you can't hit all of them out of the park, His Excellency. He's gonna have to fuck up here and there somewhere. This one seems like a swing and a miss, does it not, Andrew?
Yes, and what I'm looking up for you guys seeing that I went and grabbed my phone.
Mm.
The first thing I'm doing is looking up if Alcatraz can even put on a fight, right? So when I typed in, does Alcatraz hold events? It says yes. Events are held at Alcatraz Island, including living history days, tours, and overnight stays.
Okay.
That's all not a boxing match, though. Thank you, baby. That's not a boxing match, though, right? That's not going to be a thousands of people being shipped in or however going to come into this thing. They got to be shipped in,
Yeah,
right?
they have to get on those
Or,
ferries.
or is he going to put on a fight and only have 10 people, 40
Mhm.
people there? Because I'm sure those tours maybe are a few hundred, maybe.
Yeah, at a time, right? I mean, like, how is that going to work? Bring in ferries of a couple of hundred people, turn around, pick up more, turn around, pick up more until I mean, mind you, there was a point where the Telfimo, when he first moved to 140, I want to say he fought this dude, Campa or Ocampa, and it was here in Las Vegas at the Resort World. And there was basically like they set up a tent sort of behind Resort World, and there's where they hosted the fights. It had a couple, maybe I don't know, if I can say maybe 500 people, 600 people. It wasn't like super big by any stretch. It was a nice, roomy tent, and they had the ring up in the center. They did it a few times too. They did it with Miguel Burchelt fight as well. So I anticipate it's going to be sort of something similar to that. I mean, if I can think about past outdoor events where they just set up four sets of bleachers, and that's pretty much how it's going to be. I know Alcatraz
So,
has that area where there's an open yard. Is that where they would host it?
so I put our sporting events held at Alcatraz. It put, yes, Alcatraz hosts sporting events, including Escape from Alcatraz Tryoutathon and boxing matches. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? They
Oh,
already had. Yeah, so watch. But wait, I go down to boxing matches. It says a world championship boxing match could be held at Alcatraz on June or July of 25. this would be the first professional boxing match at Alcatraz. So no, this has never been done.
Mhm.
The other things are the a baseball. While it was still a prison, they were having baseball games at it. So none of this. What I'm trying to say, people, is none of this shows that this thing has brought in, 5,000 people to a ring
Mhm.
to be spectators to a fight that's going to be held. So I just don't think it's going to happen unless it's being done in COVID like conditions where they're only going to have a camera crew, a ring, and some journalists, but no fans. It's the only way I see it happening. Dude, if a fighter gets hurt, you really putting them on a boat or is there a helicopter? But I'm being dead serious because we're
Mhm.
talking about minutes, right? If a blood
Yeah.
clot happens in the brain, you don't got a fucking ferry ride amount of time to get his ass to a hospital, right? There's going to
Mhm.
be some serious lawsuits happening, Miguel, if a guy loses his life on a fucking ferry when he was, needed a doctor immediately. He was like, "Oh, we want to do a fight on an island." Urgh.
Yeah. And would this be outdoors? Because there's an
It
area
has to be.
inside.
It
Yeah.
has to be, bro. The whole place is falling apart. Even the last thing I heard about Alcatraz was that they were cutting the tours back because too much of the prison is starting to fall apart, deteriorate because of the rust.
Mhm. Oh
So
shit.
no, I don't think it's going to be inside. I think it'd be held outside on that piece of land out there. Um,
And how hot would it get? Like, I mean, I know. Well, I guess it's sort of a. I mean, well, not sort of.
how
It's an
much would
island, so
the
I guess.
how much would the cops be charging to put all their shit out there? How much is the fire department going to charge to put their staff out there?
Mm.
It just seems like there's way too much money to be. I don't know, man. Hey, look, and there's been a few things that His Excellency said that he wanted to do that hasn't happened. Fights that didn't come through. So I know we seen the Terrence Crawford and Canelo fight is gonna happen in September, but it was already supposed to happen, fell apart. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I don't know if this guy is just saying things that he wants to see happen, or if he actually already has a deal sitting in place for Alcatraz. But I highly doubt it. Alcatraz just doesn't seem like it's capable of holding a sporting event, just for all the reasons that we said, and we didn't even dig into it, for 2 minutes. And transportation seems like it's hard. Security, safety, it just all seems too hard to get done for a Teofimo Lopez fight. The fuck
Mhm.
money you gonna bring in? Who's sitting
Yeah.
ringside at that one?
Mhm. Yeah, the fans, how are they like? Are they gonna? Because I highly doubt they'd be willing, or Teofimo and his opponent would be willing to do a sort of bubble type event. The way they did during COVID with Teofimo when Teofimo beat Lomachenko. They were, at some fucking arena. I forgot what it was, but it was inside the bubble. There were no fans. I highly doubt they're gonna do that again. I'm sure Teofimo wants to have fans there. How many people can they fit on there? Because I pulled it up here and I was trying to look at it. There is an area called the Yard, which looks to be relatively ample, and it seems like they'd be able to put a decent amount of people on there. But I mean, first off, have you been to Alcatraz? Have you done the
No,
tour?
never
All right.
been, never done the tour. No.
So I've done it. It's pretty damn cool. It's very eerie because those fucking doors are heavy as shit and they're cold as fuck. And I think I went like in February. I think it was. I don't forgot when it was, but it was several years back, and it was pretty badass. Like I have family in Northern California, and I visited them when I was younger. And I want to say I went when I was younger, and then I went like several years later again. It is pretty dope. I'm not gonna say it's pretty badass, but it isn't the most ideal place to host a fucking sporting event, let alone a boxing fight or any sort of sporting event really that's going to have fans in attendance. Doesn't seem like it'll work out.
So
Any
Miguel,
other place would be fine. Yeah.
off top ballpark, how many people were in that tour when you guys got off the ships to go look? How many you think you're around?
Um. Wow. Well, at least on the ship that I was on, 100 20-ish people that
Okay,
were on
that
that little ferry.
yeah. So either they're going to be having a lot of boats
Yeah.
transporting people out there, but then you got to think about restrooms, sinks.
Concession beer.
Yes,
What the fuck?
I just don't see it unless it's some COVID like conditions. I don't see this happening at Alcatraz.
No, it
Now,
seems pretty far fetched, huh? Yeah.
now, why not do it at Pier 39 right in front of Alcatraz? right? You got all those wharfs right there, Fisherman's Wharf right there. We're doing the Ryan Garcia, Raleigh Romero in the middle of Times Square.
Yes, that was the next part of this. That was the next part of this. Exactly what I was gonna say, because you mentioned it, right? His Excellency with these fucking ideas, like, is this you gonna make it happen, or just things you would like to see? Like, I would like to see a gorilla fight a tiger, but like, we're gonna get, Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero, and then Devin Haney and Ramirez, Jose Ramirez, in the middle of fucking Times Square somewhere. I don't know. It's like
For
first come,
free.
first serve for
For
free,
free.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
these are,
badass.
yeah, yeah. Which is, I mean, don't get me wrong. The whole for free thing is pretty fucking dope, but we're gonna do this just out in the open somewhere. Like, is it just gonna be? Because according to what it says here, it just says New York City event headline between yada yada, right? Free to the public, first come first serve. Well, I haven't seen this where specifically they plan on doing this, but this is just another one of those wacky off the wall ideas from His Excellency.
There are there are scenery spots on the wharf that he could put a ring up that would look at Alcatraz. Alcatraz would literally be in the background. That would be cool, right? If you wanted to bring it to San Francisco and get the Alcatraz feel. So there's things like that there, and the time. Yeah, I forgot about the Devin Haney fight. Yeah, it's kind of weird that he's doing this stuff for free. I don't know how he's making money if he's paying all these guys. Is it pay per view? The Ryan Romero, is that going to be a pay per view
Mm,
fight?
I don't believe so. The post that I read didn't specify that, but I doubt it. I mean, maybe when Devin and Ryan fight themselves, I'm sure that will be pay per view. But this warm up before that, I doubt it.
That's weird how they're making money off of this. I mean, I know DAZN subscriptions are paying them something, but we already know that DAZN has a lot of money tied into soccer and the NFL. That's where most of their subscription money goes. It doesn't go to boxing. Um, so that's weird. Yeah, I don't know how he's going to make money on it, but no, I think Alcatraz, to have it on the island of Alcatraz is a no-go. I don't see that happening. I think that fight happens somewhat in the same condition as Raleigh Romero and Ryan Garcia being in the street somewhere for free by the Alcatraz. Cool ideas. I dig it. I hope he's successful in doing it. Maybe they put out a lot of t-shirts, programs, sell stuff like that. It's Ryan Garcia. A lot of posters. I don't know. Maybe the girls buy the shit out of his little, autograph printed pictures. He's got to make some money somehow. I
Mhm.
don't, you know. Um, but yeah,
The
I'm
the
all in.
one.
I'll be there. I'll be there if Lopez fights in San Francisco. I'll be there. Hopefully, if it's at Alcatraz, I'll see how to get on that island to see how they're doing this. But I just don't see it happening.
You'll be like Nicolas Cage or uh, what's his name? Fucking Sean Connery on that
Man,
Rock, the movie, right?
have
You'll
my
figure out a way to
my
get there.
my brother-in-law has a boat. I'll have him fucking
Oh,
drop
right.
me off on the rock somewhere.
It's like a speedboat, like a racing boat. We'll beat the ferry to there. Um, the I um the other fight, the New York fight, that one seems a little bit more plausible, although still rough. I've seen collegiate wrestling events take place in Times Square. The Duffy something I think it's called, or the Duff something. I've seen WWF put on events there. They're not. I don't remember them being like full blown events per se, but they're just like, I mean, where there was like matches, but they had a ring set up in fucking Times Square somewhere, and there was just people, pretty much standing there the whole time. And I've seen it happen, at least in New York specifically. So I can see how it would happen. But even then, um, if it's first come first served, can you just bring your own fucking chair? Because there's not going to be seats, there aren't going to be bleachers, there aren't going to be none of that shit, and you're going to be in the middle of the goddamn street, damn near. You have to move over, make sure you're on the sidewalk. So that one's a bit of a unique one, but it seems more plausible than fucking Alcatraz. I've seen this happen before, even in professional wrestling. Back in the day, they would have events in North Dakota during the Sturgis event. Basically, the Sturgis that happens with the motorcycle rally and stuff like that, right? That people would drive from all sorts of country and meet up in Sturgis, North Dakota. South Dakota, whatever, North Dakota, the Black Hills they call them. They would put up these, four bleachers, and the very first event that they pulled off like that, there were no seats. So basically, people got there. It was free. As long as you get there early enough, your seat is basically your motorcycle, and you watch the fucking event there. And it was pretty sick. It was pretty badass. But no ticket sales. Every event that they would host there, they had no fucking ticket sales. They even did an event on the fucking beach in Huntington Beach, California. Same thing. Basically, whoever showed up, whoever showed up. I don't know how they made money. Mind you, this was like pay-per-view stuff, so I'm sure they made money on the pay-per-view end. But I don't anticipate either one of these fights being on pay-per-view for them to try to make some money off it some degree.
You know, I expect Ryan and Raleigh to be on pay-per-view. I have a feeling that one is. It's Ryan
Well, it's supposed to be the
Garcia's.
same card. No, I thought it was supposed to be the
Well,
exact
yeah.
same.
Well, Devin is the main. He's the undercard. Sorry, Haney, you ain't no one special. You knocked your ass out, man.
Yeah.
So you're the undercard. You know what I mean? That's all you guys are. Um, no, this is Ryan Garcia's return. He's a pay-per-view star. I think they're gonna keep him on pay-per-view, and that's how they're gonna make somewhat of their money back. Now, I don't know about food and drinks if they're gonna set up things like that around. I gotta say, on most amateur events, like San Francisco has had some festivals where they'll have a ring where they're showing fights for free, right? Just to
Mm,
get it's like just a part of the festival. And there's boxing going on. They do have seats. They'll do like 4 or 5 rows of seats, go all the way around the ring, just to make it seem like it's a fight, right? You give people that show up early, they get a seat. You know what I'm saying? Now, if all the seats are filled, yeah, then it's only standing room only after that. But I'm guessing that they will have some kind of seating around the ring for the cameras, just to make it look good, right?
mm,
And then everything outside of that is you're standing up at that point. And you're absolutely right. On a real pay-per-view card, there's going to be people standing for 3 hours, 4 hours, man. If this is a legit, 6 cards, 4 cards on the TV side, you're looking at 3 hours maybe right there on just those 4 fights. So, yeah, that's a long time of standing up, but I expect them to have some seating for the cameras to make it look like a real fight. They will have some kind of seating around the ring.
mhm. Uh, Based off of the time that a couple of times that Teofimo fought here in Vegas at that Resort World, they had a tent up, and the tent was cool. They had seats around there. If you remember, it was the Ocampa fight. We can pull it up on ESPN Plus in the archives. But they had a tent up. I mean, maybe they're not. If it's going to be a fight with Teofimo, I don't. Did they say the time of the year? I mean, I assume it's like later this year, some point, not when it's cold. But there's going to be a tent up there. I
I
have
think
to
they just
assume
said
as well.
April. I
Oh,
want to
was it
say
April?
it's yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. I mean, I like the out of the box thinking of His Excellency, but I don't know. I mean, maybe again, he's a fucking billionaire. Nobody tells him no. Maybe over there, he's like, yeah, let's have a fucking donkey jump, bungee jump or something, because I can make it. I can make it happen. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can make it happen, bro. But this is kind of different. We don't just fucking say, yeah, let's go ahead and host a fight at Alcatraz, and people are gonna be like, sure, great, let's do it. And you're like, no, there's gonna be some objections.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And what a fall! I mean, Lopez. You could say he's getting paid, right? But what a dork, man. He goes from turning down a fight in Las Vegas because he's scared of ticket sales to taking on a fight possibly in San Francisco on Alcatraz.
with less ticket
Okay.
sales,
Yeah. If any.
yeah,
If
if any,
any.
yeah, that's right. And then not on that, like I don't know who was it. Oh no, it was supposed to be pay per view, right? His fight with Matias dude
Yes.
was gonna be pay per view here
Yes.
at T-Mobile. Um, whoever the fuck is gonna fight at Alcatraz is not gonna. I doubt it's gonna be pay per view.
No. Can't be.
Wow. Well, he really shot himself in the foot, didn't he? Damn it. I guess maybe that's why he's just doing all this wild racist shit. It's like, well, fuck it. I mean, I already lost out on his money. I might as well just, dig the hole deeper at this point. Damn it, Teofimo. But
Yeah, it's not a good look. It's not
no,
a good look where he's at right now.
no, most definitely, most definitely not. But we'll see. We'll see how that happens. Again, I'm cool with the out of box thinking of when His Excellency, but I don't know. Maybe he's I'm not sure. Biting off more than he can chew, I guess. I'm not sure if is going to be able to pull off those things here in the U.S. with these wacky ideas. But I like the direction he's going. I do. I'm not going to say I don't like it. I like the direction he's going.
What if
Out of
he's
the
just
box thinking.
what if he's just sending his guys on missions? He's all, I want to do a fight in Times Square. You two, go to New York. And they just have to go to New York and try to
Yeah.
pull this shit off, bro. They're like, how do we fucking do this? I don't know. He said he wants it done. And he wants one in fucking Alcatraz. Like, I don't know if is His Excellency really down here making these
Uh,
moves, or is he just fucking calling shots from a fucking couch over there in Saudi Arabia somewhere, man?
he's doing that thing that Dave Chappelle did on that P Diddy skit, the making the band. He's like, yeah, go get me breast milk from
Yeah,
a
yes.
Zimbabwe mother or some shit. He's just like, fuck, he's gonna
He
go.
said he's saying Eddie Hearn to do the Alcatraz one. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, bro.
He's like, I got one here for you, Eddie. Go to Alcatraz. You know where Alcatraz is, buddy? Put on the card there for me. All right, if you want to make the band, okay, Eddie. You're like, okay, Your Excellency. Fuck, like you don't have to clean my shoes the way you
Yeah,
suggest.
lick my shoes first before you
Right.
fucking go.
Or yeah, go ahead and make this card happen, buddy, because you know, because I know you can. So let's go ahead and send you off on this. This is your mission if you choose to accept it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yes,
Uh,
sir.
but instead, it's gonna be a reality TV show. Instead of making the band, is making the promoter. It's like, yeah, welcome guys. This is the first episode of making the promoter. Eddie, go to Alcatraz for me, please. All right. Well, that leads us to this weekend's card, which is going to be quite the card. Now, I have to say
The greatest card of all time.
oh shit.
That was everyone's reaction. Go
That's
ahead,
what
keep going.
Yeah, I mean, more often than not, you don't think of full boxing cards, you think of singular fights. So right offhand, I certainly can't think of another card that was stacked like this. But mind you, this is on paper because the fights still have to deliver. Sometimes a boxing card or even a UFC card is stacked with names, and every fight goes to fucking decision, and it's end up being so on paper. It looks like a killer ass fucking card. At least it has the potential to shape up as such. But it is I always forget what they call it. They have some name for it. The last crescendo. The last crescendo is what they're naming this fucking card. That will take place on the 22nd of February this weekend from Saudi Arabia on DAZN. And yet again, I have a bone to pick with DAZN. I'm gonna have to be traveling this weekend, and I'm gonna order this motherfucker on pay-per-view. I'm gonna order it, and we cannot stream a pay-per-view on two different fucking devices. DAZN still, so please get on that shit. You can watch regular DAZN from multiple devices. I think a max 3, I think it is. But when it comes to a pay-per-view, you cannot stream it from two different locations, which is the bane of my existence. But I will definitely watch it, and I will definitely pay for it because for $26, really, a stacked card like this, even if this was a $75 card, I probably would fucking still pay it for it anyway. But we're gonna go through this card because there's a couple of fights on here that quite intriguing. Some not so much, but regardless, according to many people, the greatest card of all time. But we're gonna basically go through this card, discuss it, and give our predictions because it is literally this weekend and this is the final show before that card. So we're gonna give our predictions on this. Now, Andrew, there's two fights on here that are kind of like the first cards on the first fights on the pay-per-view card. I don't know if you want to talk about it. It's Zhang Zhili, I can never pronounce his name, against Ajit Kabayel. Not too familiar with that one. I mean, obviously Zhang, we know who Zhang is. And then there's Callum Smith against his dude Joshua Buatsi. I don't know if you want to get into those fights, but everything from that and above is the intriguing part. Do you happen to have the card there in front of you or not?
No,
Okay. Then
I was
fuck
looking
those.
for. Yeah, I was. And why'd they do Zhang like that? Didn't he just knock out Wilder?
I believe yes, he did. Yeah, that was his last fight. Yeah, so he's now the opening act of this pay-per-view card.
Yeah, that's weird. And Wilder's getting could possibly getting Ngannou, could possibly getting Joshua. Like, what the hell's up with? Oh no, Zhang didn't knock out Joshua. Yeah, what the hell's up with that? That's really weird.
Yeah,
Huh.
no, Zhang knocked out Joe Joyce as well. So,
Yeah.
but those are the first two fights in the card that we can skim over because after that it gets damn juicy.
Yeah.
If this is any indication, I pulled up this piece of paper, this sheet that I got from a sports book. This was from a couple of weeks ago, so I don't know if these odds are still as they are, and we can briefly discuss the odds here. But the first fight that gets really fucking juicy, and I don't know again if this is the running order per se, but this is the way it looks. Shakur Stevenson and Floyd Schofield. Um, Schofield's still very green. I'm surprised they even permitted this fucking fight to happen. Um, he's at plus 600, at least at the time that I pulled the sheet here. Schofield, with Shakur Stevenson being minus 900. Obviously, he's the heavy favorite. Um, if you guys saw the ESPN card on Friday, on the undercard was one Jared Anderson, who got his ass handed to him pretty badly in his previous fight, has now come back and put on kind of a stinker. There's a reason I'm bringing this up, but if you guys watch it, go ahead and watch that ESPN card. Anderson, real big baby. It didn't really come out here with a lot of umph. It didn't look like he came back with this. I don't know, wanting to change that perception. He got his ass handed to him against Bacoli in his ass fight badly. He's back in this fight. You would think, okay, let me go ahead and put on this hella performance to let people know that I'm back on track. He put this big old fucking stinker of a fight. He won relatively easily, but it was a stinker of a fight. He looked gun shy. I am a little concerned that this might happen with Schofield, maybe to not that extent, but throwing in Schofield against Shakur this early in Schofield's career, because I quite frankly don't think that he's ready. Not that Stevenson is his knockout puncher. I'm not saying that he is, that he's going to completely fuck Schofield up. He might school his ass. But looking at these odds, plus 600 for Schofield, minus 900 for Shakur, it looks like Schofield is way over his head on this one. What do you think, Andrew?
You're not going out on a limb there. That's been kind of echoed throughout the boxing world, especially on DAZN last night whenever they were talking about this matchup. The whole panel had Shakur easily winning this fight. I think Mora was sort of against it, saying he
Mm-hmm.
was too young, just too green to be stepping up into this kind of competition. And I mean, that's all we have here. That's why this one, it's kind of hard, to have in one breath it's the greatest card of all time, and then the very first fight we're like, yeah, this is a mismatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kid doesn't probably belong in the ring with the champ. It's kind of like, come on. So but that's where we're at with this first fight. And Shakur not having power is not probably what's gonna be difficult for Schofield. It's all the tricks, right? It's all the things the experience that he has setting up these traps is probably gonna get Schofield. Schofield's never seen this type of um, onslaught in the ring before by such a high caliber fighter. This isn't sparring either, so that's where it could get the best of them. And look, I said the same thing about Morrell, and for the most part, I was right. There's many times in the Morrell Benavidez fight where the young man is just being overwhelmed. He doesn't know where the punches are coming from. He's now doing this, and Benavidez uppercut, uppercut, left hook, left hook, right hand. Like, dude, fucking punch back, move. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where he was shelled up. He did good. He took all the beating and all that. He didn't get knocked out like I said he would, but there was some times where he looked overwhelmed, and now we expect the same thing with Schofield. So it doesn't mean power necessary to hurt him. Just too many punches, too many angles, too many traps. Mind starts moving a little bit too quick, and you're thinking instead of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So
A deer in the
that's what.
headlights.
Yeah, yeah, that's where I see this first fight with Schofield. This is going to be another one where we have to see who demanded these fights with Anderson, Boki, right?
Baloki? Bacoli,
Beloki.
Bacoli, Bacoli, Bacoli.
There you go, Bacoli.
Mm.
We're gonna see who demanded that step up. We know it wasn't ESPN. Was it Anderson going up to His Excellency and saying, "Hey, pick me"? Excellency really not knowing, was like, "Hey, I like your record. Yeah, I've seen you fight. Fuck it, we'll give you a shot." Is that how Schofield got this deal? Or is His Excellency, which I highly doubt, watching these guys and going, "Those are the guys that I want to try to make the new faces of boxing"? Probably not going to be that one. It's probably going to be more of Schofield and promoters hustling a guy who's kind of vulnerable, green in the industry, and just trying to make shit happen right now. If they lose bad, His Excellency is going to have to start maybe watching a little bit more carefully of these giving these guys shots too green, right? Because
Mm,
you'll Anderson hasn't looked the same. He only had one fight, but he didn't look the same. Now all of a
mm,
sudden he looks different. Yeah, it'd be sad if you seen Schofield, who was on the rise, as far as a prospect, but nowhere in the league is getting a shot at Shakur this early. It'd be kind of sad if he does get beat up in that way.
mm.
Um,
And
so
alters him from then on. Like we see Schofield come back and just not exactly the same. It's like you didn't have to throw him in there.
no, they didn't. And to be honest with you, that was a bad knockout Anderson went through. His
Yeah,
head is bouncing off yeah, it's a bad
yeah,
knockout, man. Yeah, you don't want your fighter that young getting hit that hard and um Schofield has the same he's in the same danger here because of just the experience level being too far.
yeah. It's not just. I mean, mind you, at this point, I want to say Schofield is still undefeated. I may be incorrect, but I'm almost certain he still is. And losing on a big stage like this, it's not just physically like, oh, I got my ass handed to me, but it's like, what does it do to him up here? What does it do to his morale? What does it do to his psyche? A guy who's going up and hasn't lost yet and hasn't doesn't know how to quite lose yet on a big stage like this against a guy who's gonna probably really outschool him bad. That can do some long term, And if for those of you who didn't see the fight with Jared Anderson, just watch the ending afterwards. That they announced him as a winner, he fucking booked it from the ring, like no interview, no nothing. He just, I literally, and then like people were like running after him, basically. Like some people were like, the ones that were the athletic commission, they're like trying to escort him back to the fucking ring. They were behind him because he was just taking off so quick. So who the hell knows what happened there? But we don't want to have to see it against somebody like, with somebody like Schofield. And the over under here, the under is plus 290. The over is minus 350, 10 and a half rounds. So I guess it seems like people are expecting this fight to go the distance. I don't know. Oh, by the way, this is a WBC lightweight championship fight, mind you, because Stevenson is the WBC champion and he's going to be defending his WBC title against Schofield. So, I guess we all have the same sentiment here. It seems as though Schofield is over his head and Stevenson is going to come away with the relatively easy victory here on that one. But who knows? Let's see how. Hopefully, it turns out to be a fucking banger that we don't expect it, but chances are it won't. Um, the next fight in the running order, according to this sheet here, Israel Madrimov and Virgil Ortiz Jr. If Madrimov's name sounds familiar, yes, it is a gentleman who gave Terence Crawford quite a run for his money. And his first fight at 154 at Crawford's, I'm saying, certainly wasn't the same Crawford that we've seen before. But Madrimov was in there with only 11 fights or whatever it was at the time. And Madrimov was supposed to fight against another Virgil Ortiz opponent in God, I always forget the poor young man's name, but he was going to fight in this one of those recent cards that ended up being, he ended up scrapping. He bowed out from an injury supposedly, right? But we all know what happened. Well, at least we suspect we know what happened. He's like, fuck this fight. I got a big money fight with Virgil Ortiz next. Let me go ahead and not ruin that one. So we have Madrimov and Virgil Ortiz. This is for the WBC. It says according to this WBC junior middleweight title. I don't know if it's like the interim. I want to say it's the interim because I think that's the belt that Virgil Ortiz has. But it has Madrimov as the underdog at plus 105 and Virgil Ortiz Jr. at minus 125. Again, these were from a week ago or a week and a half ago, so I'm not sure if these have changed since then. But Andrew, this is a pretty dope ass fight. This one's good. How do you see this one going? Prediction? How does it go?
These are it. As these new young guns are going to step up and start taking on these matches, it's going to be hard to predict because we don't really know these guys under the lights yet. Virgil Ortiz, I'm probably speaking on more than Maljamov because he has the fight with Terence Crawford. Um, I like Ortiz. Haven't seen him go after someone with such heavy hands like this, but I want to say Ortiz by 12 rounds,
Mhm.
but it's really a guess. Don't go put money on my prediction, you guys, because I don't know, man. Ortiz has had some medical issues in his career. You know, I'm hope he's over all of those, but this is the biggest fight now of his career. And this guy can bring pressure and take you to those limits that maybe he hasn't been to since he's had these COVID situation. It was the COVID. Didn't he have that long COVID? Is that what they were calling it?
Oh, is that what it was? No, he had some like long-term like illness, like with his intestine or something. It was more serious. It wasn't just. I'm sure it was COVID one time, but it
Well, I
was
thought it
other
was his
things.
heart. It wasn't his heart when he was doing all that passing out stuff. Because why
Mm,
would that be his intestines? I thought it was his heart he was having troubles with.
yeah, let me pull it up here real quick, but
Yeah,
I
so
don't remember
either
because I
way,
know.
man,
Yeah.
that's what's always made me nervous about Ortiz, but I like the kid. Um
Mm.
I I want to be pulling for Ortiz. This is a big, Miguel, he how he looks in this fight is going to determine where he goes for the rest of his career, right? He's either going to show up, win this fight, look health will be 100%. We'll have no questions, and we can move forward. Or he's gonna run into some issues. But I really don't have a big enough gauge on Ortiz to say where he's gonna be at Saturday night. Very interested in the fight, um, but it is a pair of young guns. They are two young guns in there. Because
So
for Madrimov, he was still fighting the best fighter in the world when he fought Terrence.
yeah, and then just if I remember, I just pulled it up here. Serhi Boachuk. He's the guy that fought Ortiz and gave Ortiz a run for his fucking money, and Ortiz ate away with the decision. Boachuk was supposed to fight Israel Madrimov, and then Madrimov backed out for some injury. But I mean, we can kind of suspect that he didn't want to ruin a potential fight down the line when he was offered the fight with Virgil Ortiz, but he left it out because we were giving Madrimov a lot of props, like, oh shit, he's gonna fight Boachuk, and then shortly after he's going to fight Virgil Ortiz Jr., but that didn't actually happen. He ended up bowing out of that fight because this was a more money fight. I mean, that wasn't the reason, but regardless, from what I've read in regards to Ortiz's illnesses, COVID was one of them. Um, Rhabdomyolysis, if I pronounced that right, and elevated kinase levels. It's KINASE, whatever that is, levels. So he's had issues with that with health in the past, not recent, but as recent as 2022, 2023. So still a couple of years from that. Who knows if that's going to resurface? Hopefully it doesn't. We are within a week from the fight, so hopefully nothing like that happens, because when this fight was first announced, we're like, oh shit, mind blown. Let's get to the fight. Let's make sure nobody pulls out of the fight. Let's make sure the fights actually happen, because we're already, calling it the greatest fight card of all time, and we're not even at the fucking card yet. For all we know, one of these fights ends up, one of these fighters end up bowing out, and we don't get that fight. The way it has happened before, because
That's
it
yeah,
has. Yeah.
yeah.
But that one is a very intriguing fight. I think I already said the odds. Um, I this one I've gone back and forth on this one because of Madrimov's, he's fighting the number one pound for pound dude in Terrence Crawford, and he gave him a run for his fucking money. I tried to compare, Ortiz and Crawford. Um, I do think that Ortiz is going to take this one. I'm not. I suspect it'll be a similar fight with that fight with Crawford and Madrimov, where he's going to end up eking out the decision. It's going to be close, but he's going to end up coming away with the decision. And I think, like you said, this is really going to be like the the beginning of what could be like the superstar of Ortiz if he's able to win this one, at least in convincing fashion, to where we're like, oh fuck, this dude. I mean, we talked about earlier. Fundora, right? We talked about Xander Zayas. Those fights, those kind of like potentially mega fights that could happen, start with this one, with this victory over here, Madrimov. Um, I've like I said, I've gone back and forth. There was a point where I thought, you know what, I think Madrimov is actually going to pull this off, but no, I got to stick to my guns. I think Virgil Ortiz is going to end up taking it in the end. Again, it'll be close and it'll be a decision. Now that I think about it, I don't think Stevenson and Schofield is going to go the full 12 rounds. I think he's going to take
Yeah,
Schofield out beforehand, but this one
I
will go a
lean in.
decision.
I'm
Um,
leaning on that with the Schofield fight too, bro. Yeah,
mhm.
12 rounds just seems like too far. TKO. TKO late, hopefully by Shakur.
Yeah,
Just because the money seems better to go for the TKO too. It's not a
yeah.
bad bet.
I don't. I think Schofield. There's going to be a point where Stevenson is going to hurt Schofield, and he's going to go in for the kill. He's not going to let him off the hook, and I don't think Schofield has the kind of experience to survive the onslaught that will come once Shakur gets you hurt.
Mm.
Okay, so then yeah, so I got Ortiz, 12th round, maybe split decision. I'll go that direction. The next one is a WBC middleweight title. Man, these are all title fights. Yeah. One of the possible opponents that they mentioned for Canelo, the Hamza Shiraz, taking on Carlos Adames. Carlos Adames is the champion. If the name sounds familiar, of course he is a WBC middleweight champion, and he was the primary sparring partner of one Diego Pacheco for Pacheco's recent fight that he had against Steven Nelson a couple of weeks back. But Carlos Adames at they actually have him at even though he's the champion, the WBC champion. According to this, again, this was a few weeks ago, so I'm not sure if the odds have changed. They have him as an underdog, plus 190. It's a little disrespectful for the champion, but they must have a high opinion of Hamza Shiraz at minus 220. Now, these guys, they're not the biggest of names. So when we look at some of these guys' names and we're like, who the fuck are these sons of bitches? We have to look them up here real quick. We know Carlos Adames because we've seen him fight and we're familiar with his name. But Hamza Shiraz, let's go ahead and look him up because I want to see what his record is. Let's see here.
I want to say
Mhm,
he's rises under Eddie Hearn. I think he fights a lot on the zone, bro.
mhm. I think
Um,
you're right because
yeah.
let me see here. So undefeated, 21-0, 17 KOs. All right. He is 25 years old from London, England, but he does look to be, British Pakistani is his ethnicity. And yes, he has fight, Riyadh season. He last fought September. Wow, really? So September, October, November, December, January, February. So 5 months ago, he won by second round TKO over Tyler Denny. So, all right, that's a pretty decent record, right? To 21 wins, of course, undefeated, and 14 by KO. And then his opponent, which I'm here pulling up momentarily, one Carlos Adames, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, because sometimes these names and we're not the best at pronouncing these fucking names here. Dominican fighter. Let's take a look at his record and see where the hell he is at here. He is 24-1 with 18 wins by KO. So one loss against Patrick Teixeira. This was back in 2019 and hasn't lost since. He did defeat Sergey Derevianchenko, which is something. He beat Julian Williams, J Rock, a couple of years back. So he's got some names under his belt, and he is currently the WBC middleweight champion. So kind of surprised to see him as the underdog and that much of an underdog, but apparently they have quite an opinion of Mr. Hamza Shiraz.
From what I remember, that young man had a good following already,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of gambling going on. The money line could have changed or going in his favor just off of popularity. Doesn't
Hmm.
mean he's gonna win. I like Adams in that fight. I don't know. I might try. I might see if Reno's snowing on this next few days, bro. I'm getting
Yeah.
an itch right now. I mean, we got two fights. We have the Shakur that I think he can stop Schofield, right? That's going to be a positive number. And
Mhm.
then come on, give me Adam. What's Adams by TKO on this kid? What's the
Oh
odds
yeah,
on
I don't
that?
have the. It doesn't give me the props. It just gives me like the money line, the straight money line, and then the over
All
under.
right,
But
what's the straight money line for the kid? Adams for the champ.
um, plus 190. He's the underdog.
Yeah, see, you get another positive number. I'll
Mm.
take I'll take him. I'll take Adams because yeah, this is another fight where his excellency could be putting him in there a little too fast. We don't
Hmm.
know. Adams is a veteran. He's not just a paper champ. That's a veteran fighter. He's a what are they, gatekeeper. Once he loses that title, he's going to be a gatekeeper of the division. We all know his future. So, um, this kid, if he's being brought up at the wrong time, yeah, you're gonna fucking walk into a nightmare. So yeah, I would look at the upset for that fight most definitely. And if the young man wins, hey, more power to him. It doesn't mean he should be put in with Canelo next.
Mm,
It's just Adams, right? It's just a small WBC belt. It's a good step forward though. But I would take the upset on a betting um, look at, in my opinion, on betting wise, I would take
mm.
the upset. What it do? Oh, no prop bets. I was gonna say, do they have a knockout for the young man on Adams, but no prop bets?
Mm-mm. No, unfortunately, no prop bets. At least not on this sheet. I'm sure because I haven't gone back. I think I went for which I haven't looking at my calendar here. I think it might have been for some other pay-per-view card. In fact, I'm almost certain it was the Morale and Benavides that I did go to the Westgate. If you guys are familiar with the Westgate, it's what used to be the Hilton, the Las Vegas Hilton, is now called the Westgate. They have a pretty killer ass sports book in there, and I went in there and I picked up this sheet. So this was a couple of weeks ago already, February 1st, around the time. But yeah, that seems like a pretty good bet. I'm down for that Adames fight though. I mean,
No.
for the win, for pulling off, because this dude, he's let me see here. Adames is 30, right? So still in the peak of his man strength, and Hamza is 25. So 5 years younger. All right, cool. But it's not like we're talking, 35
30.
over here for
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
So we might they might be putting him. I mean, apparently they think he's already ready already to throw him in there. Um, but yeah, they might be. I don't know. Maybe they might be throwing him in there a little too early. Because um, I was looking at some of these fights here that he's had, or at least Adames. He's fought more well-known fighters, guys who were tough. Guys who are good tests. And he's surpassed them, right? Yeah, he has one defeat. That was back in 2019. That was 6 years ago. So has moved on since then. Um, all right, I'm down for that one. That one's gonna be a pretty fun scrap.
Yeah.
I might have to go with the Damas on that one as well. I think he might pull off the upset. Plus that, I mean, if he's still at 1 plus 190, good lord. Um, oh, you know what's funny that you mentioned that, because I'm gonna be traveling this weekend, and I'm gonna go kind of up north. I'm gonna go to Salt Lake City, and I don't know what the weather's gonna be like driving up there. I hope I don't get any fucking snow. Shit. Come to think of it. All right, so that takes us to our co-main fucking event, the IBF heavyweight title. Joseph Parker taking on Daniel Dubois. I forgot what the D stand for. He was like triple D or something like that, right? Daniel Dubois. Odds on this one, again, this is from a few weeks ago. Joseph Parker plus 200. So they have him coming in as the underdog, and Daniel Dubois at minus 240. All right. Well, if you remember, Parker's kind of, I mean, it's funny. They talk about Daniel Dubois having a resurgence in his career after, tough losses against Joe Joyce and who else was it?
Usyk.
Oh, yeah,
Usyk.
Usyk as well. Yeah. So,
And it's how he lost to Joe Joyce.
mhm,
Isn't that the one where he quit?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
man. It's
his
how he
eye was like looking like
lost.
this, but yeah, yeah, it was also how in the fashioning wheels, but Parker is kind of having a resurgence himself with victories over Zhang and Wilder. Tougher fights, but regardless, he got victories over both of them. So he himself is kind of having a bit of a resurgence. Um, you know, I've called Daniel Dubois a duplicate of Joshua. Honestly, I kind of see him as a duplicate of Joshua. When he gets tagged, he's going down. That Dubois I'm talking about. Because have you seen it? Um, I don't know if Parker has the kind of pop to do that, but I think Parker might actually be able to pull off the victory here. I think that Parker has a little bit more momentum going for him, and he's gonna be able to do to Dubois what Parker did to Wilder. He won't knock him out. He won't fuck him up that way, but I think he'll be able to school him that way. But at plus 200, that's not bad, huh?
Yeah. No, and I see where you're going. Parker throws fast combinations. Dubois is more of a slow pace fighter. I don't know if he'll be able to keep up that tempo of fight. So I see what you're saying, where Parker might be able to outwork him. Stay on the outside, throw your combinations. I like Dubois. The body shot he landed on Usyk might have made him the champ. Then he knocks out Joshua. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's living high right now himself. But I do I do see what you're saying about Parker's his output. It's a tough fight. It's a tough fight. I gotta say that I think Parker, even though he has his moments,
Mhm.
I think Dubois holds on and gets him late. I'm gonna go with Dubois by late TKO on Parker. All right, yeah, I think he's in because he stood up for the majority, right? He gets stopped by Usyk late in that fight, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, he's been stopped twice. Shit.
Yeah, and mind you, one of those was his eye was really bad. Was he swollen? I think it was the fight with Joe Joey's where his eye was like swollen pretty bad. So I think he was like, "Fuck, it could get worse." Took a knee and stayed down. It was a little bit more of a beating against Usyk. So he's the kind of guy that they've taught him how to lose. He's already lost a couple of times, and that way, whether or not Parker can do that, he'll be able to sneak his punches in better because he's faster. Dubois to me just seems like a duplicate of Joshua. He's got heavy hands. He throws bombs, but when he gets hit, he does the chicken dance, the chicken leg dance.
I'll agree with. I'm gonna go with you.
Yeah.
I'll say, yeah. No, you convinced me on that other because you know what? He's gonna probably be trying to do. Parker's gonna outbox him. I
Mhm,
think Parker knows what you're saying there. Outwork him, stay on the outside because the ball's not a go get you kind of fighter, right?
mhm,
He's a lazy guy, probably more of a punch inside of the he punches inside of the punches, right? And
mhm,
the
mhm.
yeah, let's go. I'm gonna go Parker. All right, I'll go Parker decision. Parker decision over Dubois. Yeah, that's what I'll do on that one.
All right. And then side note on the over under on 10.5 rounds, the over is even, the under is minus 120. So they think this fight's
They
not
think
going.
that
Yeah,
yeah.
10.5 rounds. All right. Well, that leads us to the main event of the evening. Dmitry Bivol taking on Artur Beterbiev for the undisputed light heavyweight championship, and it is a rematch of their first fight that took place last October. Starting off with Dmitry Bivol, they have his odds at even, and they have Beterbiev at minus 120. Yeah.
That's what they
Um,
had the last fight at though, bro.
yeah.
Seriously. The
Yeah.
first fight I think was the same exact odds, man.
Mm,
And you know what? It played out just like that.
mm,
It was a very hard fight to score. I have better look. I had better be winning the first fight. I bet on him that night, so I'm at the casino hoping he wins. But it's a hard fight to score. There's not a
mm,
lot of there wasn't a lot. It's in my opinion, there wasn't a lot of rounds where you could convincingly say one guy was dominating and took that round. There's a lot of boxing going on, and Beterbiev's not the greatest boxer, right? You would have thought Bivol had the upper hand if we were going to do a boxing match. But Beterbiev's power was getting to Bivol. He did hurt him a few times late. I'm gonna stick with better. I'm gonna keep it with Beterbiev, and hopefully it's a little bit easier on the second time around. But would not be surprised if Bivol pulled off a few more rounds to get a third fight. It was a very close first fight. Um, so yeah, best man. But no, I'll stick with my Better Beef. I had him last time. We'll go Better Beef again.
how?
Oh, decision, bro. Nah,
Mm,
he ain't knocking him out. He didn't even come close. None of that was close in the first fight. It was a total points thing. He did get a few clean shots in where it might have rocked Bivol, but
mhm.
never did I ever think that Bivol's gonna go down right now or no. So I would say decision all over again. 12 round decision. Better beef.
Okay. So I might have to challenge you on that one. Um, when Beterbiev when that in that first fight, uh, mind you, Beterbiev was coming off of that injury,
Yeah.
and it was very shortly after that injury. So I think he was a little bit insecure. He was like not sure of that knee, that patella, that he wasn't 100% sure of himself and confident in himself, and he wasn't putting a lot of pop or enough pop, I should say, into those shots. Now, many months removed from that. I think he stops Bivol this time. I think he does. I
Damn.
don't think he go. Bivol, I think a couple of times felt the power and backed off a little bit. Beterbiev probably wasn't able to capitalize on that because of that he wasn't quite confident in his knee yet because of how close it was from the surgery. Um, I think this time he just takes it. I mean, once in this time he took it last time, but this time he takes it with a more decisive victory. If he doesn't stop Bivol, at least he drops him. I think he at least drops him. I think he's going to show a lot more of his pop that we thought we were going to see in that first fight. Now he's coming in with much more confidence, of course. I whooped his ass once before. I'm going to do it again. Now more healed. I think Beterbiev wins stoppage, late fight, late round stoppage. If not, at the very least, he drops Bivol. I think.
That's the
Uh,
win we need. We need Better Beef to end
yeah,
this, and let's get Better Beef. Benavides. I don't want to jump ahead because I know Bivol
you're
does
fine.
doesn't deserve that, but definitely Better Beef's the win boxing needs.
And keep in mind, His Excellency already said if we do get Bivol
I
winning
know.
and he wins it, we have the trilogy. Unfortunately, Benavides is probably going to have to take fucking step aside and wait until that trilogy plays out before he gets his crack at the winner. But it would be probably the best for boxing that Better Biev wins decisively, looks impressive, and then we have him and Benavides. Fuck. It'd be badass if we can get that shit crack like.
Yep.
Um, all right. Well, that's the card. Definitely, I will urge everybody to order this shit on pay per view because I most definitely will for only $26. Andrew, you said it last week. This is where fans get to show up, right? If
Yeah.
we're fans and we talk about all this shit about this fight's being expensive as hell for just one damn fight, this is not that. So for all of y'all, you can afford. We spend $25 at the gas station. We spend it on fucking eggs. We spend it on pretty much
That ain't
everything else.
shit, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
$25.
exactly.
That's lunch nowadays, Miguel. There's guys spending that every day at lunch. You know what I mean? Like I say a super burrito and a Coke is like $25 in the city now. It's dead serious, bro.
Yeah, yeah, that's what you're gonna go spend right now on fucking on just tickets alone for all I know, fucking on
Ugh.
this, if I had to remind you. But Andrew has to go take his family to go watch some movies, so we're gonna call it a night, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you guys next week. I will be traveling, so we might have to do this show Monday or Tuesday, maybe even Sunday if I can take my laptop with me. But we will be back next week to talk about the results of this killer ass card, potentially the greatest fight card of all time or boxing card of all time. So until then, please call up if I can be Mean Gene Okerlund real quick. Call up your local cable operator and or whoever the fuck it is. I guess it's DAZN. Call them up and say like, "Hey y'all, I want to order this pay-per-view, and please let's hope that we can stream it on multiple streaming services or streaming devices." You enjoy the rest of your Valentine's Day weekend, and we will see you guys next week. Peace. Be safe.
Late.